So I related so hard with Rishabh's character that, and I was in a way.
Sir Rakshit.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Did you say Rishabh?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that beer was strong. So Rakshit, I called my dad because I wasn't, calling my parents, and even my wife would shout at me saying, "Why can't you just pick up the phone and talk to your mom, dad?" So after watching the movie, I was so moved by it that, I called my father and had a conversation. So yeah, thank you for making it, and of course, Sapta Sagarada Chelu. I mean, if there is someone who can take something so realistic, because in the world of one guy can beat up 1,000 people, he is the greatest cinema. Here is a guy who, this is my opinion, okay? So, he is a guy who takes things that happen in everyday life and stitches a beautiful, engaging, intriguing, moving narrative. So, can we have a round of applause for Hemanth Rao? So I was just, do you want to finish your answer?
Yeah, please, I'm feeling terrible for walking in and stopping you from answering. I don't even know what my answer was.
Can I recap? You said the story comes second.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I think story form ho jati hai while I'm shooting. I'm looking very, I'm basically chasing larger ideas. कि लोग कहने की कोशिश क्या कर रहे हैं? What is their challenge that is so big that I must listen to them? What is the larger idea that is being pushed out by these people that is so vital and important? And once I have that idea, then I bring the craft of story to it. It's like the necessary wardrobe that the idea needs. So yeah.
Beautiful.
So before I jump to Hemanth, one fundamental difference between non-fiction and fiction is that the story happens at the edit desk. Right? Like after you've shot and you are essentially, picking out the narrative that you want to tell as a filmmaker, correct? So Hemanth, I just asked him, and he was responding to what amounts to a story. And why is it that, like for example, me going to a cafe and having coffee is not a story. But me, after getting stoned, going to White Castle and grabbing a burger and having a character is a story. It's almost the same thing, but somehow Harold and Kumar go to White Castle is a story that people love watching. But these other things are not. So I'm just, for the benefit of the audience, if there are any filmmakers here, what is a story, what amounts to a story, number one. And number two, how did you get into it? Because I also know, Wikipedia tells me you dabbled in journalism for a little bit. Right? So, what made you become the storyteller, writer, director, producer that you are today?
So, for me, a story is basically, essentially a human experience. That is the most like the simplest short end of the answer. It can be complex, it can be simple, but the end of it, I think the purpose of a story is to invoke empathy. Good stories do that. And it also is a very interesting way how it is so integral to our lives, because the way we remember our own lives is through stories, through fragments of things that have happened to us. So it's very ingrained. I recently read somewhere that human beings are so obsessed with storytelling that when we sleep, we are still dreaming, which means we're still cooking up stories in our head. So it's kind of, it's kind of in us to be that way. And I think I have 2 dogs and they also dream, so I'm guessing stories are important for them as well. So coming back to your question with regard to what the second part of your question?
How did you get here from being a journalist?
I'm basically a round peg in a square hole. I did engineering. So while doing engineering, I realized I'm not really cut out for the analytical side of things, and I had always found comfort in storytelling, and I'm generally a very restless soul. So my mother had gotten me interested in reading and books. So the whole idea of reading a story and sort of experiencing random emotions that don't really belong to me was very fascinating from a young age. So while I was doing engineering, I realized, okay, this is the only thing that seems to be comfortable for me, gives me comfort. So I gravitated towards that, and that's why I found myself here.
Okay, cool.
Bangalore, almost everybody who's an engineer is doing engineering so that he can do something else.
That is true.
I think they should call it like RB School of Film or something like that.
Very much. I know about 8 or 9, no, actually more. I know about 15 film directors in Karnataka who are actually engineers.
Wow. So, I don't know if you know of this nugget of information. Vinay's first, which is An Insignificant Man, which is a documentary about the rise of Aam Aadmi Party vis-a-vis the rise of, what's his name? Arvind Kejriwal, yes. Yeah. So, it was one of the rare documentaries in 2016 had a theatrical release, and it ran for weeks, and it was a sleeper hit, right? So my question, and of course, Hemanth's, like I said, Hemanth's first film as a writer-director, Godi Banna, is something that just came out of the blue. Nobody would expect a first-timer to do this kind of a, correct me if I'm wrong, but you see, you have seen bonding between mother and kids, but the rare bond between a father and a son wasn't explored for a long time. Maybe it was earlier, I don't know, but for a long time that space was vacant. I don't know. I mean, even the